Dr. Tanner's on the mic, healing wounds unspoken. Trauma on the table, bandages broken open. Folks walking shattered, leave with hearts wide awoken. Transform through the pain, from the dark to the golden. Traumatic makeover, she's guiding through the fire. With every word, lifting spirits higher. Changing lives, setting souls on wire. In her eyes, the strength to inspire. Broken hearts to mended, stories she untangles. Lives redefined, no more skewed angles. From shadows of the past to brightened dreams, Dr. Tanner lights the path, so it seems. Dramatic makeover, she's guiding through the fire. With every word, lifting spirits higher. Changing lives, setting souls on wire. In her eyes, the strength to inspire.
Good evening, and welcome to Traumatic Makeover TV. I am your host, Dr. Andrea Tanner, and I am here to bring you the great news. What's the great news? Trauma relief. We are bringing you trauma relief. Well, I have a special guest tonight. But before then, I want to let you know, Traumatic Makeover TV is where healing begins and transformation happens. Traumatic Makeover is a safe space for raw, real, and restorative conversations about trauma, mental health, and the power of transformation. Again, I'm your host, and I am a licensed mental health professional and trauma recovery advocate. I was going to say addict, but I am addicted to trauma recovery. And we want to dive deep into the heart of healing through personal stories, through faith-based reflections, expert insights, and empowering education. So when you're here, each time we try to be here on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. But when you are here, just know that each episode is to explore how trauma impacts our lives and how we can rebuild, how we can reframe and reclaim our stories through therapy, through faith, through our community, and most of all, through resilience. Whether you're on a personal healing journey, a mental health professional, or someone supporting a loved one, Traumatic Makeover TV offers the tools, hope, and inspiration to help you thrive. And so I want to tell you a little bit about our guest tonight. Her name is LaKeisha. I know her as LaKeisha Trim, but let me go back. LaKeisha Trim Green. She's a writer, and she's originally from Franklin, Louisiana. She's a mother of 4, grandmother of 5. She is an Army veteran that is proudly still serving her country with dignity and pride. She is one of 6 founders of Alpha Delta Omega Military Sorority. Mrs. Trim Green has a degree in health administration, business administration, and health information technologies, medical front office. Mrs. Trim Green is the CEO of Moments Like This Coaching and Counseling Services, LLC. She's a motivational speaker, grief counselor, mental health coach advocacy. In her spare time, she enjoys riding motorcycles, traveling, helping others, family time, reading, and journaling. Mrs. Trim Green has co-authored 2 times international best-selling books, and is a 3-time Amazon best-selling author. Now, I am very honored to have her on here this evening. Just with that, she loves giving herself by doing selfless service for others in her spare time because she always was told, whatever you do it out of the kindness and not for shine. So without further ado, I want to welcome LaKeisha Trim Green.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
Oh my God.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
See, you want to hear that again?
That was a lot. That was a lot.
Well, welcome, welcome.
Thank
I am
you.
so honored that you agreed to be on Traumatic Makeover TV,
Thank you for having me.
right? So we're ready. There are people on, there are people. So I always say this before, and I say that if you're riding in your car, pull over. If you're washing dishes, take a break and sit down and watch Traumatic Makeover TV. Because one thing LaKeisha told me before we started, she says, get your tissue. And I got it.
You're gonna need
That
some.
tissue, and we're ready. We're ready to talk. And I know, LaKeisha, we didn't say everything. I think you said you've written and published at least a minimum of 13 books.
Yes, ma'am.
And so the first book is Life with Life Without Divorce, or Life After Divorce. Life
Yes.
After Divorce. And I tell you what, you are a woman of, well, of many hats. You wear many hats. You're a veteran, you're an author, you're a
Yes.
mental health advocate, you are a business owner. When you look in the mirror, who do you see?
I see me.
And
I,
who are you? Tell me something.
I am LaKeisha.
Okay.
I am a woman that now knows her worth and knows her purpose in life. So that's who I am. And every day I get up, I look at that person and I'm me.
So, what inspired you? Well, let's put it this way. What inspired the name Moments Like This Coaching and Counseling Services?
A lot of people don't take the moments just to sit and cherish those moments. A lot of people think, hey, I have to just live, live, live. No, you have to cherish some moments, and moments I share with my grandkids, moments I share with my kids, I cherish those moments.
Okay.
So, with that, it's like you have to take that moment and look at yourself and live you and don't live no one else. And that's how I came up with it.
So I know, LaKeisha, I met you because of the women veteran background. We're both veterans, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And through the National Association of Black Military Women, where you are as well. We didn't even say that. You are the president of the Houston chapter now.
Yes, ma'am.
And but as a U.S. Army veteran, how did your military experience shape your mental and emotional health journey?
It pushed me to the limits.
Okay.
It pushed me to the point where everything that my mama and my daddy was instilling in me
Mhm.
came to light because I lost my mom before I went to the military. So everything that she taught me, to be true to yourself, to be true to your purpose, to be true to life, period. It came when my drill sergeant, when I got off the bus, and my drill sergeant looked at me and was like, "Oh, you think you tough? No, I know I'm tough. It's no thinking about it. It's I know. So it was that really just put my mind when we ran the PT test. I had to run it for my kids, because I had kids at home. So I had to run it for them, and I had to make sure that I live life for them and make sure I can come home to them and provide for them.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my military life was for my kids. It wasn't for me. It was for my kids.
Gotcha. So was there a pivotal moment or pivotal, let's put it this way, since we're on traumatic makeover, was there a pivotal traumatic makeover moment in your life where you knew healing had to begin?
After I was raped by my stepdad, um,
And how old were you?
I was 13,
Okay.
and I had a child. um, it was to the point where I didn't think I loved myself enough because I let that happen to me.
So let's stop there for a moment. And I want to go back to the foundational time when we talk about that we were talking about traumatic makeover, but let's talk about the trauma because that sounds like trauma. Okay. So I'm going to let you start back wherever, but it has to be before age 13 because I want to hear this story, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I don't mind sharing it all. I wrote a book about it.
Okay, okay.
um,
And what's the name of that book?
When the Soul Cries.
When the Soul Cries. Okay. So yeah, go on and share that with us if you don't mind.
Well, it was, I was the tomboy
Okay.
type. I played sports and everything. My mom was always, getting us into things. And it happened when I was left alone because my mom had to take care of my grandmother at the time. And my stepdaddy started touching me. And my mom had found out she had cancer, and my grandmother had cancer. So it was like she could not do what, without taking care of her mom, put it like that, because my mom was a dedicated mom to her mom. And I had to take care of my siblings when my mom would take my grandmother to the doctor. So my stepdad took it amongst himself to say that if I didn't, that it would ruin the relationship with him and my mom. And my mom seemed to me to be happy, because he was a preacher.
Mm.
And she plays the piano. She's a musically inclined, tough woman. She was tough. It was like when she would leave me at home, he would make me do things that I didn't want to do, but in order to keep my mom happy, I did not say anything. I did everything he told me to, even when he had one of his nephews around. One of his nephews touched me. It didn't get to the point with the nephew with the sex, but it was a touching. When you touch a young girl at a young age and you think it's all fine and dandy, and it's not. And it was like I was so hurt that everything stayed in me. I never brought anything out.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a time when it went on from age 13 to 14 when I had my child.
Okay.
It was a time he beat me in the bathroom, and I still have the whelps from that, because he said that because my mom was at choir rehearsal that I was going to do it, he told me to do. So we was in the bathroom, he whipped me and did what he needed to do and wanted to do to me. And it hurt, but my mom was happy. My deceased brother was my protector. So
Okay.
so that was that. But now I'm good at telling the story because hey, it is what it is. It happened to me, but I'm glad that I can help others get through what they're going through, and maybe help them before it even starts.
So did your mother ever find out?
My mom found out the hard way. We were going to have oh, Jesus. We was going to the track, get ready for track, and I had to go have my physical. So me and my mom and my brother went to Lafayette, and the lady was examining me. And when she examined me, I didn't know what no line on no stomach meant or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when she examined me, she said, "Oh, you about to deliver?" I said, "The who?"
Now, you were 13 at this time.
I was 14.
14. Okay.
I said, "The who? The who what?" And she said, "You're about, no, I'm not." I said, "I'm not pregnant." She said, "Yes, ma'am, you are. Where's your mother?" And when mom came in, she was telling her congratulations. And my mom was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." Yeah. So, we hid it for a long time.
You said we hid it.
Yeah.
So she knew it was by your stepfather.
She knew but didn't know. She didn't want to, take it in as that. And she didn't want to be like, okay, yeah, her husband was capable of doing this and he was a minister.
But you told her it was him. Okay. How did you feel at that time, LaKeisha?
I
You had been holding the secret in for so long.
that wasn't it when I told my mom. It was when she told everybody else. Um, I still hadn't told my dad until I wrote my book, but he found out by my brother when I had the baby, but my mom took me to another area instead of taking me to Franklin Hospital. We went all the way to New Orleans
Mhm.
and to have the baby, and she helped me deliver.
Yeah.
I have a beautiful baby girl, but it was at the point when I told her she kept it in,
Hmm.
and when she finally let it out, it was to my grandmother, and my grandmother could not stand my stepdaddy at all. When my brother went and told my dad was upset, but he still didn't know who it was for. He still was upset because it was like, you didn't tell me you was pregnant. You could have died on the table. He was thinking those type of things. And I'm the baby girl. Like nothing like this should happen to my baby girl.
Yeah.
So it still hurt him till to today. It still hurt him till today because I didn't tell him, and I was always in front of my dad. I'm always with my dad. But it hurt him till today because he's not able to come to reality that his baby girl was raped and he wasn't there. So yeah, it's hard, but it's hard for me to look at my dad. But it's with my mom because my mom ended up shooting my stepdad because I tell people don't hold nothing in because you don't know when that trigger is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that trigger happened with my mom because my stepdad used to abuse my mom, but she never told anybody. She walked around with a smile on her face, and it never got out until she shot him.
Now, I just reiterate again. You said he was a preacher, a pastor
Mhm.
of a church. Okay, that's the reason why we need recovery in the ministry in the churches, because it can't be hid because so much pain is there. So if you're out there and this story by Miss Trim Green is resonating with you, and we don't know where you are. You can be in California, you could be in New Mexico, New York, Pennsylvania. Find someone, find a place of refuge, find someone to talk to release this. If this is happening to you right now, report this. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And I just kept, even when they're in relationships, because I saw what my mother went through, even in relationships, I thought it was something healthy. But it got to the point where after I got abused, I was like, no more,
Okay.
no more.
So, was there a time or a moment that you just dealt with so much grief in reference to this that it was unbearable?
Um, it took when my brother passed away in 2017 that everything that I had been through, from being raped in the military on down to being abused by my two ex-husbands to the abuse from my stepdad, it took all of that when he passed away for me to just say no.
When your stepdad passed away?
When my brother passed
When
away.
your brother passed away? Okay. So, we stepdad raped you age 13. You delivered a daughter
Mhm,
age 14.
mhm.
When was the second trauma? When was the second abuse?
The second abuse was from my first husband. Mm,
Okay.
bless his heart. Yeah. He was, and that's what the book is about, life after divorce. He was a manipulator. I thought he was my best friend because we was kind of raised together. We went to church together. My mom knew him. We knew the family and everything, and we was in these different church organizations together. So I gave it a chance.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It was.
Tell us about it, because this is the book.
It
Tell us.
was. It was me trying to steal from him, which I wasn't. He didn't keep a job, but I was the bad person. Him taking my car, do what he wanted to do in my vehicle, taking me around the ex girlfriend that had the baby for him and everything, staying in her apartment while I was outside in the car. I think he talking about the kids, but they really not doing what they had to do, and just the abuse physically. He shot at me, didn't shoot me, shot at me, shot in the floor. When I called the police came to the house, picked him up, but dropped him off around the corner because it was a female in the car and they was messing around. All that. Yeah. I was to the point where I wanted to do something bad, but I was to the point also to I got too much to live for. I'm not about to let my life go bad because of him. So how they say, let go and let God. I had a smile on my face each time he would come, and it would hurt him so bad because I was still smiling. I will kill you with kindness before I try to retaliate against you. And that's what I tell a lot of people out there. If you going through something and you want to retaliate, retaliation is not the best thing to do. It's not. Let go and let God, because trust and believe karma, it comes around. So after he had my cell phone and took my car and had a female in my car, he didn't know he butt dialed me. He butt dialed me. That was it. So he came back to the house and he ended up flipping in his truck, almost killing himself. So I didn't have to say anything. I let the good Lord handle everything. But coming from a broken nose, a black eye, busted lip, is bad. But I went to work just like that. I never gave up. I went to work. I let people see what I went through, because it was a hurtful thing. But if you let people see and you don't sugarcoat, you don't hide anything, you are helping someone else to come out and say what's going on with them instead of them, shedding it and keeping it in. Because if you keep it in, you don't know what's going to happen the next day.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that is so true.
Yeah. So I didn't do anything. So right now he's in jail. He's going to be in jail.
And why is he in jail now?
The female that he had calling my phone and threatening me and saying all kind of stuff about me ended up calling me to help her because he did the same thing to her that he did to me. And the police in that area called me and asked me, would I be available? And I said, yes. So I helped her and he ended up going to jail. He tore up her house real bad, and beat her real bad.
So LaKeisha, what inspired you to write this book after this marriage?
I love journaling. And when I was in the sorority that I was in, I met some ladies that was some authors, and that was my passion to write. I always write. I jot down stuff at work, just to write poems and everything. And they told me, they said, well, just put it together. And when I put it together, they said, everything that you're going through, is best that you write it down, because if you don't talk to nobody, get it out some kind of way. And my writing is a way for me to, kind of react to things, because I can say what I want to in my writing. I can't say what I want to in front of people. I can't cuss in front of people all the time, but I can put it on paper and do what I have to. So that's a release for me.
Yeah.
That's my time to release myself. And that's how I did it. And I just keep on doing it.
Okay. So this book, Life After Divorce, what was the most monumental part? What did you take out of this relationship, this experience? Because by this time you had at least 2 traumas under your belt. How were you coping? How did you deal with this? I know you said journaling, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But how did you cope day to day, knowing where you came from? Like you said, you trusted this young man, you knew him, y'all had a history together. but you didn't know that side of him.
My children,
Okay.
my children are my stronghold. Everything that I do, everything that I think about, my successes, everything is due to my children.
Mm,
Now it's due to my grandkids. So everything that I set out to do, I think of them. And my mom would always tell me, may the life you live speak for you. So that's how I live life. I want my grandchildren to look back and say, yeah, my Gigi did this, my Gigi did that. It's not about the materialistic things. It's about what she spoke. It's about
yeah.
what she lived for, and it's about what she stood for. So that's how I keep going. And I just push. I gotta push. I can't give up.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've gone from surviving to serving. So, what mindset shifts help you transition from pain to purpose?
The mindset of, if I give up, what am I living for? And when I look back on what I've been through, it
Hmm.
makes me stronger. It makes me, when I look at other people that's dealing with the same thing that I used to deal with, that gave up on life, I'm one of the ones that survived.
Yeah.
So that makes me push past anything that I ever been through, because I can look at myself in the mirror and say, Keisha, you know what? You had a broke nose, but look at you now. You had a busted lip, look at you now. You know, you can still speak. A
Yeah.
lot of people can't speak. So
Well, that's totally true. So, after this relationship, is this what kind of spearheaded you to go toward the military, the army?
no, that was that no. I was out the military then.
Oh, so between that and you came back to Louisiana, and then that's when you gotcha, gotcha. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, tell us a little bit about your military service. I would be behooved not to even speak of this because that's near and dear to me. So you joined the United States Army. You served. What was your MOS?
I
And
was
for
a
people that
92
don't know what MOSs are, military's occupational specialty.
I was a 92 Yankee Supply Logistics. Army proud.
And where were you stationed? Where
I
did
was
you go?
stationed in Cotton in Germany. I was overseas.
In K Town. Okay.
Yes, I loved it. I loved it. I met some great people.
Mhm.
One of my friends, her name is Kenya. I met her overseas also, and we went through a whole bunch together. They called us Thelma and Louise. Um, she was one person that inspired me to write also, because the stuff that we went through over there,
Mhm.
I don't know how she got through it, but she
Wow.
got through it. So,
Well, I know that is a jewel. Journaling, writing is a jewel. It,
mhm,
it is just so, as the Bible tells us, write the vision and make it plain. But those who read it will run with it. And I tell you what, your books, you've written those things, you've written it, and people will read it and their lives will be transformed.
yes,
They
ma'am.
will understand, even if they have not gone through that, to understand how a person can go through so many different, and I'm going to say complex traumas, and still be resilient and come out and do some things. And so when we talk about resilience and empowerment, uh, that's the epitome. Writing it down, getting it outside of you,
Yep,
being able to dump that.
that's
And
a
so go on.
that's a must. That's a must.
Yeah. So, how do you help other women reclaim their voice and power after loss and after they've dealt with some trauma or even life transitions?
I have a plan where when I work with them, I talk to them plain and simple. I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't hide anything. I am a open book. If you tell me, hey, I've been raped and the man did this and the man did this. Okay, baby, look, let me tell you something. This is how it is. This is how it's going to be. This is what you need to do. First of all, you need to know yourself. Write about yourself.
Mm.
Tell
You
me
know,
what you want.
and oh my goodness, what did you just say? You said know yourself.
Know yourself.
How many people don't know themselves? And it's hard for them to write about it because they have not slowed down enough to know themselves. That's powerful, LaKeisha. That's powerful.
Everybody
Know
wants to
yourself.
live for someone else.
Mhm.
Um, I wrote a poem about I can only see things through my eyes. I can't see things through your eyes. So I can't live your life for you. You have to live your own life. I can only see what I see.
Yeah.
So when I see what I see me. But when you see what you see inside of me. So all that, hey, I gotta do this for this person, do this with this person to sugarcoat this for this person. No, I can't. I can only be me because I can only see me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I live.
Wow. So, as the founder of a military sorority and also the president of the Houston chapter of a National Association of Black Military Women, what does sisterhood mean to you in the healing process? Because we know in both when we're talking about military and we talk about military women, unfortunately, sometimes we have to talk about military sexual trauma or others trauma, trauma that a person has endured while in combat. But what does sisterhood mean to you in this healing process?
Sisterhood to me is truth,
It's true.
respect, honesty, openness,
Hmm.
always and always trust. Because if you don't have those things, that's just a little snippet. But if you don't have those things, you can't have a sisterhood because you don't believe that you can trust anyone. You don't believe that you can speak to anyone. So you must have those things in order to start a sisterhood, in order to be with someone and be close to someone, in order to share and get your trauma out to relieve yourself.
Hmm. Because sometimes we don't know how similar our lives can be, how parallel we can be. And the unfortunate part is sometimes when people deal with trauma, they begin to not like themselves. So therefore, they mistreat other people by not liking them when it's really them not liking themselves, right? So sisterhood is about going back of saying knowing yourself, because if you know yourself, you can see other things in other people that can help them, and you can be more of a sister than they even fathom you could be, or that we fathom we could be for ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to get into your books again, your writing, because that just I'm just so in awe about your achievements. So you co-authored best-selling books,
Yes.
and so you've also told us how writing, in a sense, is a form of therapy for you.
Mhm.
Uh, but well, let's just say this: when is your next book coming out, or do you have any planned?
It's coming out soon. I already have it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, it's coming. So, what advice would you give someone who feels like their story is too painful to tell or even to publish?
You don't know if your story is too painful until you write it.
Mm, okay.
Because once you write it, then you can read it. You're the author of your own story. So write it, then read it, and then you'll know.
Yeah. And sometimes when you think it's too painful, it can actually be a relief to write it down, to
It's
put
the
it
healing.
on paper.
It's healing.
Hmm.
Because to me, it was healing for me because I can really put everything that was up here and just messing up here on paper. And
Hmm.
once I saw it on paper, I looked at it, I
Yeah.
read it, and I read it, and I read. I said, "Did I let this happen to me for real?" I had that question myself a couple
Yeah.
of times, like, well, wait. And then I looked at myself, I was like, Keisha, really? Yes.
So you're a giver by nature. I can tell that. So how how do you fill your own cup while serving others?
I don't fill my cup. The Lord fills my cup.
That's good. That's good.
I don't fill my cup.
That's good.
So
So that is so good. So if the younger you, maybe the girl from Franklin, Louisiana, right? If she could see the LaKeisha of today, what do you think she'll say?
woo. She would look at me, she'd be like, girl, where you been? Cause that's not you. That wasn't you at home. You was a little roughneck at home. Because I'm still a tomboy, but at home I was a straight up tomboy because I wanted to do everything with my brother. I wanted to compete with my brother. It was nothing but competition between us. It wasn't, she would be like, okay, you got makeup on. You ain't never wear makeup before. I'm like, yeah, I do. I grew up, I grew up. But then she would tell me thank you. She would
Mm,
tell me thank you. She would tell me you did not give up on us. And that's how I live. I wrote a letter to my younger self in one of my books because I had to apologize.
mm.
I messed us up. So I had to fix us.
Wow. You said, wait a minute. You said I messed them up, I messed us up, so I had to fix it.
Hmm.
How do you how did you think you messed us up? How do you think that? Or even I wouldn't say how, why?
Because some things in my life I allowed to happen to me. I can't always fault someone else for what I allowed in my life.
Okay.
So I allowed some things to happen to me. So when I allowed some things to happen to me, I messed my life up. I messed my
So you
plan.
saying based on your experience, based on your choices in life.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
So yeah, so I had to apologize, and I was good after that.
Okay. Okay. When you said fill my cup, I let him fill my cup. I think of the song Fill My Cup. I think it's CC Winans, Fill My Cup, Lord.
Fill me up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so, wow, y- you've been amazing. You have totally been amazing. And I know that's not all because you got like 12 other books. And I had you kind of dip into a second one, but I would love to have you back on.
I will be happy to be back on.
Yeah. So, because we go deep, because I wanted to say when you said baby, you know,
Oh my
that's
God.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
But I would love to be back on. I love to speak of everything that I went through because I love to help others.
Okay.
And if I keep holding it in where people don't know my story,
Mhm.
and what we live by, her story. So my story is my story, but it's also someone else's story. So they can share theirs too.
And that's so good because if we deal with our story, if we relive our story, we cannot go back. It's not going to take us back. It's just reliving it through writing, as you say. Um, we can break that generational curse. We can make sure our daughters don't go through the same thing. We can make sure our granddaughters or our nieces don't go through the same thing because sometimes people go through so much of trauma. They experience trauma, women. So let's go here. Women experience trauma, but they put it in a closet
Yep.
and think nobody sees it. But every day they walk out of the home, they see it in their walking and they see it in their talking and they see how they're interacting with other people. People see your trauma
Yes.
and you think it's okay because that's just how I am. No, it's not just how you are, it's what happened to you, right? So I just pray that this touches one woman, because one woman, and gives her the inspiration to change. And I know we have people putting comments into YouTube right now, and I'm hearing things like awesome, sounds good. She's going to check it out. And I'm thinking she's talking about your book, LaKeisha, right? And wow, what a sacrifice for someone else's happiness, for someone else's happiness. Powerful. Someone else's release from our story. So understand, if someone wants to order your books, how can they do that?
They can reach me at on Instagram at author LaKeisha Trim Green, and also on Facebook.
Oh, let's slow that down. Let's slow it down for the people.
I talk fast.
Like, baby, give me that pen, give me a pencil, and she'd already put it out there like, I'm gonna do that. No, slow it down. Let's slow that down in motion. So yeah.
On Instagram is author LaKeisha Trim Green, and also on Facebook is the same thing, author LaKeisha Trim Green. Or you can Google me, and it'll hit me straight up on Google. It'll give me give you a link to reach out to me.
Okay. Now, when you say author LaKeisha Trim Green, is there a hyphen between, or is this
hyphen?
It's a hyphen, so they must put in that hyphen. Okay, wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, if you're in the Houston area, check this woman out. If you're in the Louisiana, baby, check this woman out, right?
Please do.
No matter where you are, Google is right a pinky away, right? Check her out. Author LaKeisha Trim Green. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for blessing our show. And I'll see you on the other side.
Yes, ma'am. But I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
For people like me to speak my story, to help others.
You are so welcome. And this show is sponsored by the Village Builders Clinical Counseling Solutions and Consulting. Make sure you visit our website at thevillagebuilderscounseling.com.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Good night.
Dr. Tanner's on the mic, healing wounds unspoken. Trauma on the table, bandages broken open. Folks walking shattered, leave with hearts wide awoken. Transformed through the pain, from the dark to the golden. Traumatic makeover, she's guiding through the fire.